Boy, my poor little brain is mush. I'm continuing along trying to print some of these parts, and this is some of the little stuff I run into from inexperience. The second V-tail, I want to print it. It's not going to take much filament until I get some in. I'm just printing these individually instead of trying to print them all at the same time. I'm in no hurry. I've decided on my Cura settings now. Completely happy with them. So basically, here's this one. Ready to go. 0.1, one wall random. I went to 6 layers because, as you saw in the wing piece last night, I just didn't like the glue surface I had. Going to go with 50 millimeters. So back to the way I was printing, except with this change. And in this case, I will be using tree support on this because of this overhang. I don't want to print this in any other orientation because all of the surface from here all the way around to right here is tapered, rounded, in some shape, form, or fashion would have to be supported if I printed it in another orientation. So, go ahead and slice that. And I'll show you some of the problems I run into doing all this. Well, everybody's going to run into it if you've never done it before. When I slice that and preview it, I understand it completely except for one little thing. What is going on with support in this area? Come on. I understand it here. That's where I want it. I don't want it here. And I don't even understand why it is there. I learned it's there because there's a hole there. Yeah, we're going to support the hole. Actually, you're supporting the top of the hole. Sorry about that. Not the hole itself. So at first I came in here to block supports in that area. So I clicked on support blocker here and dropped in a support blocker here. That seems to not have the area I wanted to cover covered, so I'll click on it and we'll size it a bit. We're going to size it by pulling on it. That should do what I need right there. It looked like to me. We just have to kind of pull it this way a little bit and pull it that way a little bit so it's centered over that hole. I didn't know it was the hole that was doing it that moment. We'll do it again. This is my learning curve, and it will be yours too. It's not gone, is it? I came in here and I went, well, wait a minute. I wanted it blocked from there. I've got it completely enclosed. So I started saying, well, I'll just make it a little bigger. I'll pull it a little bigger in this direction. Don't want it to get back there in this area where I do need support. So we'll just pull it bigger. That'll fix it, won't it? Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh man, what's the deal here? My brain says. So I choose the support again, blocker again, and we'll just make sure it's even with the build surface. Maybe that's why it's not working for me. I went out and YouTube and typed in Cura support blocking and watched the 2 or 3 videos that are there and didn't tell me much. It's still there. Well, then I figured, wait a minute. Maybe it's the top of the hole. So I went into scaling and I turned off uniform scaling, and I said, what if I just pull that top up above the top of that hole and then slot? Yeah. Notice the support disappeared from this area. I had not. That's the first time I've removed support successfully from a print. First time I've had to do it. If we look at it now, it's because the support blocker's above the top of that hole. If I pull it down, I can see it well here. If I pull it down anywhere where it's below the top of that hole, the support will come back. Now, I don't know anywhere on the face of the planet you can learn this information. That may be from my video. See, support came back. Pulling one's hair out. All it has to be is ever so slightly above the level of the top of the hole. It doesn't matter where the bottom or anything like that is at all. Now the support will. That's the type of thing I'm running into with this. I've never done it before. I forever know it now in the future, how to block support in places I want to block support. I will never have that problem again. At first with this, I could not figure out why it was even putting support in that area until in my mind I saw that perhaps it's the top of that hole through the center of that build that it's wanting to support, and that's what it turned out to be. And when I turned on support blockers until I blocked above that right there, it did not get rid of my support. But now I have what I want here. There's no sense in putting that support on there. And that's where that one piece earlier, you saw the junk running up the side of it. That's because there was a hole through the center of it there, yet it put support on the outside of it to supposedly block, support the top of the hole. So that support probably at the top where it was running on the outside of the print, right where the hole was, it probably angled inside the print and actually supported it. There's probably a little bit of support in the end of that hole that shouldn't be there. These are theories of mine. I'm just trying to show you how I work through things and how you might have to work through things. So this is the way I would print this piece a little bit later. Take 5 hours to print it. It's going to support this ledge. That's fine. I don't need anything else there. I don't see how... boy, should I try this one? That isn't but about an inch. No, there's actually a hole in it right here that is for that carbon fiber rod. See it right there. There's a hole in it right there for the carbon fiber rod that comes through that whole control surface to hinge it and make it rigid in that direction. So I do want the support there. I'm just going to leave it. That's how I'm going to print it. If you look at my... Whoa. I'm doing this on 2 computers. So, yeah. I got to watch my movements here with these profiles. So I now have a Titan Talon profile that is set up for 1 layer, 1 wall, random Z-seam, 6 layers, as I've said earlier in this video, 3% cubic subdivision, 260 for the temperatures, 50 millimeters. This is the last change. And on a print. I'm using this profile on all the prints now. On a print that I need support on, I would have to come in here and just check this. So I've got this set up now. After reinstalling everything, we can look at that last piece. There's 3 pieces to the V-tails. They're all the same. You do have to mirror this one so your control horn is in a similar place as the other one. I guess if you wanted to put the servo in the platform in a different way, you wouldn't really have to do that. You could just let servo control be on one side of one V-tail and one on the other. And as long as you've got a flight control system that will handle that, you'll be in Fat City. So see, there's no reason to print this one with any kind of support. So after rotating it and make sure it's in the center of my build surface and centered on the build surface with my Z of 0, I'm ready to slice it exactly, again, without support on this one, according to my preferred Cura settings. This will vary from person to person. It's 5 hours just to print that little piece. That's fine with me. If you preview it, there's of course no support, no problems with it. Although that seam is randomized all through here, that's why the white dots. You can see these white dots down through here. That's what I keep looking at as something I think the designer put into the print, so that nastiness prints out here on this edge, and later you're supposed to come back and cut this off and give yourself a nice, see, there's plenty of trailing edge there to cut this nastiness off. You can even cut the nastiness off right here if you want to. So, not quite sure what they had in mind for that, but that's what's going on for me. So that's just a little bit of the things I run into with trying to block support, doing all this for the first time. Just some of the ways I'm working through it, just to show you how I stumble around, so to speak, and hopefully you won't feel bad if you're in the same situation and you're trying to get all this done on anything. It doesn't have to do with this PLA. It doesn't have to do with this print. It's any 3D print and how you work through problems. We could be printing in ABS right now a model car for all we care. It's just find a better tutorial right now on support blockers on the internet, please, by all means. I couldn't find one that told me the reason you don't seem to be blocking that support there well, my young friend, is because you're not blocking this roof of the hole that's in the thing. Boy, that's just, and there may be another perimeter for making that stuff not appear. So this would be one control surface, and of course you see you would have to you know, if you were going to try to print this at the same time, I'll just add another model to this real quick. It's the same part, we just duplicated it. But if we took this other one and said we wanted to mirror it in this direction, you see that's what pops that control horn around. See, now you've got this one where this control horn would be near the left side of the fuselage and the piece coming out this way, and this other one, the control horn, would be near the right side of the fuselage with the part coming out this way. So on this one you do have to mirror image that part and offer viewability here. If I rotate this one 180, you may see more. I guess I'll have to move it then, won't I? You will see more that mirroring that changed where this control horn comes out and gives me a right and left piece for parts. But as far as the other two pieces for the V-tails, I think they're asymmetrical. They have no right and left. That's the way I'm going to print them. I'm just going to print out two exactly of each of the two pieces for those and glue them together and see what I come up with. But I do have to reverse and mirror this to get my control horns in the correct position. All right. Just a little FYI video. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you.